Okay, now that we're getting the hang of building these NURBS curves, we're going to go through quickly and build some more curves for our cage. All right, so we've got these curves going. Let's go ahead and jump right in and start building some more. Now we need a curve along the bottom here, and we have these two curves already. So I'm going to make sure that I snap the ends of these curves right along there. So in my EB curve tool, you can also hold down C. Instead of moving it when you actually create it, I'm going to hold down C, click on this curve, and the first point of my curve is going to end up right on this curve. They're not attached, they're just it just exists in the same space. And I'm just going to draw this curve out right along the bottom. When I get to my last one, I'm going to hold down C again, snap it right to that curve. Okay. Just grab these and I'm going to just match them up a bit. I'm not being too concerned at this point about how many points I have. Just don't want too many, but enough to kind of get the general shape here. Let's go into our top view. You can see it wasn't completely straight, so I'm going to just pull these out. This would be the bottom part, I think, down here, this line. So looks like we might need to move our wheel there a little bit out. There we go. If I look at this, I can snap it to my point again, or to my curve rather. There we go. All right. And let's make sure and pull this out a little bit so we don't have that weird little loop going on there. Okay, I want another curve along the side. And this one I want to define the inside edge maybe of this scoop here. I want it to connect where this panel is. Okay, so I want it to come from the top edge of this wheel arch, across and down to this one. All right, now I know that it's going to be kind of the same curvature here. So I think I'm actually going to duplicate this guy. So I'm going to grab this. So we have it already kind of contoured the way we want. I'm just going to Control D to duplicate. I'm going to move it down. Okay. And I'm going to just go up to this wheel here and detach that. Okay, get rid of that part. And this part, I'm going to actually detach it somewhere up here. Okay, get rid of that. And let's go ahead and grab the end of this and snap it down here to this curve. Okay. And then we can manipulate our points. I kind of want it to follow this curve that's along the bottom of this extrusion here. And kind of plan ahead just a little bit and put that resolution where you want it, even though we're really early in the process here. Okay. Move this up a bit. And this guy, let's see. And we want to snap this guy to the interior circle here, which is what we have. So I'm just going to C and snap it to that curve, hopefully. I find that sometimes it takes a while to get that snap. So let's take a look. Okay. Grab that point. Just going to zoom in here. Let's snap it to this curve. Get the right curve here. There we go. Okay. And I'm just going to move this up, my side view. Alright, so that's basically from the top view, it's going to be kind of the same contour. Let's take a look at how this is looking here. So what we want to do is we want that to taper gradually into this point, into this center point here. Okay, let's go ahead and match these up a little bit better. Okay, so you can see it's coming in rather sharply right here. If you want to, you can go ahead and take those curve points, and if there's too many, you can even just delete those. We'll be looking at how we can rebuild this stuff in a little bit. So now we got this curve coming basically from underneath, and it comes back and attaches to this guy right here. Okay. All right. So when we've got that curve, let's see what else we need to draw out. Let's draw another curve. You can see we've got a curve defining the side here, and we've got a curve defining the belt line up here. This is more of like a character line on the car, but we don't have the outer portion. So if we were to create a surface from this, it wouldn't have anything to create that curve. It would just go straight there. So we need some curves, some intermediate curves in here. So let's go ahead and try to do those as well. Okay. Let's check this. Sometimes you get a little bit of strangeness going on. Just from the curvature, it looked like we weren't getting a smooth curve, and we'll be able to tweak that in the future. Just want to get it as smooth as possible, but we also want to match up our reference. So let's go in here and figure out what we can draw next. Okay, so let's draw one. Let's say that we want one to start kind of in the middle here, and let's say we want that one to define the outermost portion of this curve. Okay, so I'm going to start drawing it from my side view. All right, and I'm going to start kind of somewhere in the middle between this point and this point. So we've got that curve and this curve that goes up at the wheel well. We need one in between here, so I'm going to just kind of look at the center here and try to draw something out. If you don't like where you place a point, you can hit delete, and it'll take you to the last point you placed. You can also click, and while you're holding down, you can drag it and see you've got it where you want it, and place it that way. Okay. Alright, so I've just placed it really roughly. It's going to need some tweaking here, so we'll go ahead and do that. Just from our side, keep in mind that this definitely isn't where we want it to be from all views, so you're going to have to keep constantly going back and forth to check to make sure these things match up. And this seems like a lot of work, I guess, but it's going to pay off for us. And pull this up. And let's pull this guy over. Get a nice smooth curve. There we go. And there we go. Alright, so if we check that out, and let's go ahead and pull it over sort of into position. So we want this to be kind of the high point here. So you can use this shadow maybe as a guide. And we know that we want it to be halfway between here, so it's going to end up somewhere over here. So if we go into let's do our top view first. We want it to end up over here. Kind of center it between the two curves that we have already. Okay. And just keep pulling these points. I'm just kind of looking to see where this high point's going to be, and this is going to curve back in, looks like. Pull that out. And let's go ahead and make this over here, just to kind of straighten it out a bit. Let's take a look from our front and from our perspective. There we go. All right, so now you can see that that might be a little bit better. It might need to come up actually. I think it does need to come up because this side is basically going to be, the high point is going to be basically because it comes straight out from the belt line. So now that I think about it, we actually need to bring this all the way up. I do believe. So it's always good to take a look at things and think about them before you finalize anything. Here we go. I think this is going to be a lot better. Yeah, let's take a look. All right, so if you can imagine, and we'll look at how this happens, but if you can imagine a surface going between these curves, you can see it's going to come out, hit that one, curve down to hit that one. So you want to give yourself enough resolution to create that curve, okay? If you don't have enough, it's going to, because the computer is going to want to take the shortest route. So if you only have two curves, it's going to go straight to them. So you want a kind of intermediate curve to define that, okay? All right, so we've got the main side curves built. Those three main curves, and we can tweak those up in a little bit. We've got the bottom and the top here of this. We've got our two wheel wells. And now keep in mind, as we do this, we are only building half of it. The car is obviously going to be symmetrical, so we're just going to build half of it and mirror it to the other side. All right, so let's actually come back in the next lesson. Just one more, I think, curve lesson as far as drawing curves. We'll go ahead and draw out some curves across the car to define the hood, or the windshield and the roof and that sort of thing. We'll go ahead and do that in the next lesson.